AM 1460, the new WXBR. You are listening to the Metro South Morning Program. Peter Czymbor and Mike Paiva here with you on a Wednesday morning. A lot of school closings there, Mike. We'll have them for our listeners each and every half hour during our news update, but plenty to do this morning, as has been the case thus far and as will continue to be the case as we move forward.
Yeah, we're not going to let the snow slow us down.
That's right. We've got some very committed guests. Special thanks to Jason Vega, former member of the New England Patriots and Dallas Cowboys, for joining us in the first portion of the program today. He's currently with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers of the Canadian Football League. I guess sticking with a Patriots theme to some degree, we do have a current New England Patriot cheerleader in our studio right now, but that's not the thing that is going to set her apart from other guests we've had, as she recently qualified to appear on American Idol. We welcome into our studio West Bridgewater native, Miss Stephanie Petronelli. Stephanie, good morning, and thanks for making the trek into our studio despite the weather conditions outside.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Stephanie, tell us about the process about getting on American Idol. First off, let's talk about this. Before we even knew that she made it to Hollywood, I think everybody that had ever come across you knew that you must have done something good in the show, because they were playing you in the promos for the commercial that aired all throughout the NFL playoffs on Fox.
Yeah, that was really exciting. It definitely would have been misleading if they had been airing that, and then the answer had been no. I'm sure people would have been disappointing, but that was definitely, I think it coincided, the timing, with the playoffs and American Idol airing in the same weekend. So it definitely worked out for me, which I'm thankful for.
And you're a Patriot cheerleader, so the NFL tie-in all happens.
Yeah, they all took place around the same time. So I think I kind of linked those two things together, which I'm thankful for.
That promo is actually a bit of a departure from what American Idol normally does in hyping up the first episodes of the show. Their promos are usually, this person sucks, we're going to make fun of them. Right. Don't you want to see what we're going to say?
Exactly.
But in this case, you actually moved on to Hollywood, and there you were, looking fabulous in your New England Patriots cheerleader outfit, singing a song and impressing the judges. Tell us about the process of getting on American Idol. You obviously have a connection to Gillette Stadium, being a New England Patriots cheerleader. That's where the auditions were held.
Yeah, the auditions are at Gillette Stadium, and basically it's just anyone who wants can come down and audition. And I believe there was, I don't know the exact number, but around 10,000 people that showed up that day. And you just go and everyone sings for a couple of seconds and you hope that you make it through. So it's definitely nerve-wracking and scary knowing that you have such a short amount of time to kind of stand out from everyone else. So
now, before you get to sing in front of the televised judges, Jennifer Lopez, Harry Connick Jr., and the country guy, Trace Adkins. I'm not a big country guy, I apologize. I know you're a country girl.
Keith Urban.
Is it Keith Urban?
It's Keith Urban, yeah.
I thought it was Trace Adkins.
They're in the same realm. It's okay.
Is Trace Adkins a country singer?
Yes, Pete. So you're half right, I guess.
You're close.
Keith who?
Urban.
Keith Urban.
Yeah. We'll let it slide.
Jennifer Lopez, Harry Connick Jr. Before you get to sing and perform in front of them, do you get to sing and perform in front of producers or something before you get to that point?
Yeah.
Or do they look at you and say, this girl's in the cheerleader outfit, we got to let her go?
No, that you have to go through, I would say, grueling rounds of auditions that begin at the stadium, and then you get a couple weeks off, and then you go through another several rounds with different levels of producers. So they probably take maybe like 200 people from the 10,000 at Gillette, and they start narrowing it down to like 160, and then I think it was under 25 that made it to Hollywood from Boston. So it's a grueling couple of days to go through.
So let's talk about your audition, which has already aired on television. You arrive at your audition in front of the actual television judges, Keith Urban, Jennifer Lopez, and Harry Connick Jr., and you're sporting a New England Patriots cheerleading outfit, as you are a New England Patriots cheerleader. And you actually had some support from your cheerleading friends, which I have to imagine they were leading cheers in your honor at that moment.
Yeah.
The wardrobe choice, how'd that come about?
Well, I wore it because the first round was on the field, and I was like, I'm auditioning on the football field
at Gillette
Stadium. Like, it makes sense. Like, plus, I also thought this will also tell them that I am more than just a singer. I can also really dance, and if I make it to the live rounds, I'm going to bring the performance aspect to the show. I wanted them to know that I'm different than the other contestants. Also, I wanted them to know, this is my home field. This is where I cheer every Sunday and where I work every day. And I'm going to be at the stadium today. I might as well go audition for American Idol. That's great. But whatever you wear in the first round, you have to continue to wear for all of the rounds, so it definitely...
Is that because they're taping it from day to day, and they want it edited to make it appear it's all one day?
Right, yeah, and just, it's one episode, so it'd be kind of weird if, you're wearing all these different outfits, so... you have to wear the same outfit, so it definitely was uncomfortable after, a couple of days wearing the same uniform for hours and hours and hours, but...
Did you have to get any special permission from the Patriots in order to wear that for your audition?
It was actually my coach's idea. Her and the other cheerleaders were like, since they're at the stadium, why don't you just wear your uniform? That would be so amazing. It'd be great for the team. It'd be great, just go do it. My coach was like, yeah, you have my blessing to do that if you want to. So, that's why I did it, I guess.
So the actual audition in front of the 3 TV judges, nerve-wracking, or considering your vast performing experience, which we'll get to in a little bit, were you comfortable, or is it still, oh my God, that's Jennifer Lopez in front of me?
Yeah, I was terrified. I was before I was going in the room, I was really nervous. I didn't know how I was going to do. It's just it's something, when you go into any aspect of being judged, it's nerve-wracking in general. And I've done so many talent competitions in my life. I've probably done over 30 talent competitions in my life. So you'd think it's something that I would be used to, but I was definitely, the fact that it's Jennifer Lopez, who's someone that I admire so much and am such a big fan of, and the fact that it's on reality TV, if you mess up, they're just going to show it on TV. If you forget the words, it's on TV. If you fall when you walk in, you can't ask to redo it. So it was nerve-wracking, definitely nerve-wracking. And the whole time I was singing, it was I didn't even remember it after I won.
Do you know what I like about Stephanie thus far on her appearance, Mike?
What's that?
She's very classy. She's very well-spoken. But you can sense the New England in her as she says, Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, God. That's embarrassing.
That's not embarrassing at all. It's just a geographic thing. We all forget to pronounce our R's from time to time. So talk about the critique that each of the 3 judges gave you when you performed. You were actually battling somewhat of a cold or a hoarse voice, correct?
Yeah, since the auditions, the executive producer and rounds before that were day and day and day and day, I was singing for 4 days straight. And the night before, the producers had suggested that I learn a different song because I had been singing Led Zeppelin, Whole Lotta Love. They were like, maybe we're not demanding it, but we were recommending that you go with something more current. So that night, I was singing every song I could think of, trying to find a current rock song, which is, if you think about it, there are not a lot of current rock songs out there right now. So
not getting mainstream radio play,
right?
For that matter.
So that's why I ended up upon the Grace Potter song, and I have to practice it, learn the words, and before you know it, it's the next morning at 7 a.m. and my voice was shot. So,
yeah, talking at 7 in the morning is not fun, is it?
Yes, yeah. No, I feel good now, but I was singing all night, so I definitely that, and I think I did have a little cold as well. So. I can tell you that in Hollywood, that definitely won't be a problem because it's a muscle. You can't go to the gym and just work your arm all day long and hope that, the next day it'll be fine. So I learned my lesson from that, and I definitely learned a lot from that round and applied it to Hollywood.
Now, the critique that each of the 3 judges gave you, you got a little bit of mixed feedback. Tell us what you remember from each judge, what they told you, and how you're applying it moving forward in this American Idol competition.
Well, Harry Connick, gave me the critique about the breathing and was concerned about my voice. And
it seemed at first he was just really staring at your abdomen, but he actually had a productive reason for doing so.
It's why is he being so creepy? No. No, I think sometimes when you get into the performing mode and the nerves got to me, I may have lost a little bit of the technique, which, this was a new experience for me. I wasn't used to it, so I can see why it happened, and I think also being in the outfit I was, maybe that was part of it too. I am glad, I'm very thankful for that critique, because when I went to Hollywood, I made sure that even when I was really, really nervous, I was like, I'm not going to let myself make the same mistake twice. I'm going to apply what he told me, and I'm going to show him that I've learned a lot over the time between the first round and the next round, and I made sure that definitely wasn't a factor anymore.
Now, refresh our memories. What did Jennifer Lopez say, and what did our country friend Keith Urban say?
J-Lo thought I had a lot of soul, and I think she really liked me. And Keith was saying that I don't blame him. My voice was really raspy that day, and he probably was a little concerned about that, but he also liked me at the same time. So he gave me the the second chance, which worked out great, and I was very thankful for.
Was it 2 of the 3 who moved you onto Hollywood, or was it unanimous?
It was J-Lo and Keith that liked me, and then Harry was kind of not sold, so.
But here you are moving on to Hollywood.
Yeah, you just need 2, so it doesn't matter.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Once again, we're chatting with Stephanie Petronelli here on AM 1460, the new WXBR, West Bridgewater native, moving on to Hollywood in the current season of American Idol. Now, when will you be going to Hollywood, as right now we're in our palatial Brockton studios?
Well, I've already gone, but you're just going to have to watch the show.
So some of it has been recorded, but we don't know the results yet.
Yeah, you just have to watch and see what happens.
So we don't want to know what happens because we want to watch and be entertained as it goes.
Yes.
And then, of course, at some point there will be a live version of American Idol, so there's voting and things of that nature, right?
Yeah, if at the top 20, there's the live rounds. So other than that, the whole show has been pre-recorded.
Was there anybody in line with you to audition for American Idol that you flat out knew had no chance and they were just going to make a mockery and spectacle of?
You know, I know there had to be a lot of people there like that, but I think I was so concerned about me doing well and my voice and everything that I had going on that I wasn't really paying that much attention, I guess, to things like that. But I know I saw the guy the one that kind of mumbled and everything. I know he was definitely sleeping like the majority of the time. So that's all I remember about that.
Was there a lot of sleeping people that early in the morning getting ready to audition?
No, that's why it was kind of funny.
Well, we're chatting with Stephanie Petronelli here on AM 1460, the new WXBR contestant in the current season of American Idol. You've been performing for many years. We've seen you in and around the South Shore, including at the WXBR talent show held a number of years ago back when you were a teenager. What got you involved in singing and performing?
I grew up in a household where music was such a big part of it. You know, my dad is a musician and a singer, and I can't even explain. It's just something I was born wanting to do. I was born, and from as far back since 3 years old, I've been telling my parents I want to be famous. This is what I want to do, and I've been pursuing it. So there's a lot of people in the world, you know, that want to be famous that don't pursue it. But I have steadily been pursuing singing and performing since as far back as I can remember.
What are some of the earliest gigs that you can remember that were actual gigs, not just performing for friends and family?
I think my first performances were in boxing rings. My family has a lot of roots in boxing. Goody and Patsy Petronelli.
Yeah, your uncles or your granduncles were the trainers and managers, respectively, of Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Exactly. So I think that was where, you know, I was the little girl in the boxing ring that sang the national anthem and performed starting out. And then from there on, I started entering every talent competition in New England and have been Brockton Idol, Metro South Idol, Country Idol, just about every kind of idol you can be locally. And then I recorded a CD, which was recognized on the Grammy ballot in 12 categories over a couple of years. And then as I got older, into like 16, 17, I started recording and producing my own music and was opening for acts like Trey Songz, Music Soul Child, and Plain White Tees. And then
That's quite the eclectic people to be mixing.
Yeah.
To be opening up for.
Yeah, it was at a military base in New Jersey. And then when I graduated when I was 18, that's when I auditioned for the New England Patriots. And from there on, I started, you know, performing overseas on USO tours and at some of the Patriots games. And now that that's ending, because this is my last year with them, I started auditioning for American Idol. And so I'm hoping that leads somewhere from now on, because I'm definitely never going to stop pursuing that.
For many years, every time we'd see you performing somewhere here and there, you always did that song, Redneck Woman.
Yeah, I used to. That's so embarrassing. But
why is it embarrassing? That was your jam. You rocked
That
it.
was my jam. Yeah, I used to
You
love
used to
that
wear
song.
the cowgirl hat as well.
The whole getup.
Yeah, I used to wear like a cowboy hat and the cowgirl hat, whatever, and dance around. It was a fun song. People love that song.
Still is a fun song. There should be no shame in your game
My
when you sing
mom's
that
always
song.
like, you should just go sing Redneck Woman. I'm like, Mom, no, I'm just really sick of that song now.
Now, we saw you growing up performing country songs. You mentioned earlier that you initially auditioned doing a Led Zeppelin song. What style of music is that you ultimately want to perform for a career?
Well, it's mainly like blues. You know, anything with blues or soul, which I feel like can kind
got a
of
bluesy voice, I think.
Yeah, and that kind of goes with like some country songs and some rock songs. So I definitely kind of teeter on that line, I think, between those two genres, and country, rock, and anything kind of like bluesy, soulful.
Who are some of your influences vocally?
I love Janis Joplin.
I was going to say, I sense Janis Joplin just in you speaking.
Yeah, I love her. I love her songs just because they're just so emotional and like moving and powerful. I like Etta James. I do like Led Zeppelin a lot. But I listen to everything. I like Carrie Underwood as well. I listen to just about everything. I love all those songs that are like, I don't know, like Miranda Lambert, like Gunpowder and Lead, like any of those kind of like, I don't know.
So you like Angry Girl, Let's Kick Some Ass
I like
kind of
angry
songs.
songs. Yeah, I'm a very happy person, but
Very happy
I like
person.
angry songs.
But she's got a bluesy, raspy voice. I can sense it, can't
It's
you,
like
Mike?
my alter ego, I guess.
There you go. It all comes out on stage.
Yeah.
It's like Beyonce, Sasha Fierce.
Exactly.
We're chatting with Stephanie Petronelli here on AM 1460, the new WXBR. Our old studios used to be located on the corner of Main Street and Petronelli Way. How cool is it that your family has a street named after them?
It's really cool. I'm hoping that maybe someday I'll get really famous and they'll like add on another one.
Stephanie Petronelli Way. It's a shame
Maybe
that,
in West Bridgewater.
that gym is no longer there, I believe. Across the street.
No, it's not. But, the legacy lives on. And I'm so proud of my roots and my family and,
There's still kids fighting in the amateurs who are turning pro that got their start at Petronelli's gym.
Yeah.
So your family does have a fine legacy
And they never
in the sport of boxing.
moved or switched gyms,
No, they
even
were
after-
always in that one spot.
Yeah.
Did you ever go upstairs in that gym?
I think I used to go there a little bit when I was little. My cousin Tony still trains and everything, so I would see him around and all the people fighting.
If you were to walk up the steps to that gym just a few years ago, Mike, it was the quintessential, stereotypical, if you wanted to make a movie about a set in a boxing gym, this was the place. Dim, dirty, blood and spit stains all over the canvas.
Gross.
And Kevin McBride, huge Irish guy, burly, punching a bag, going, "Hey, how's it going?" That's how he sounds, too. We're chatting with Stephanie Petronelli. We're going to step aside for a quick break that will encompass local news and some school closings. You want to stick around with us for another segment, Stephanie?
Sure, sounds good.
That's Stephanie Petronelli, American Idol contestant, joining us here on AM 1460, the new WXBR. We'll step aside for a quick breather. Back with more of the program after this. And we're back here on AM 1460, the new WXBR. You are listening to the Metro South Morning Show. Peter Czymbor and Mike Paiva here with you on a Wednesday morning. Remember, follow along with our show on Twitter at PM in the AM Boston. Like us on Facebook, PM in the AM, the Metro South Morning Show. And the best place to hear archived interviews and segments from this particular program is on our official YouTube channel at youtube.com/PM in the AM Boston. Our interview from earlier with Jason Vega will be available there a little later on this morning, as is this interview with Stephanie Petronelli. Mike, we were just laughing during the news break that as of this moment, you and I, both personally and professionally with our collective PM in the AM account, have more Twitter followers than Stephanie Petronelli.
Yeah.
But considering,
We're smoking you right now.
count one for us. But considering you were on national TV for a few minutes and you got a few hundred followers, I have to imagine in the next few weeks you're going to blow right by in
I
terms
hope
of
so.
followers.
I'm not like good at, I don't know, I guess I'm getting the hang of it, but I'm not like the best tweeter, I guess.
There you go.
We'll help you. We'll help you become a tweeter. During your episode airing, it was weird because Stephanie Petronelli Twitter pages would pop up that were not you.
Yeah, that was like, I was like, why do I only have like 3 followers? And there was this other Stephanie Petronelli who was like, I am Stephanie Petronelli, and she had like 500 followers, so I was like, and then I guess there was another girl actually named Stephanie Petronelli who was getting a lot of followers too, so it was like really weird for like a few minutes we're all like, no, I'm Stephanie Petronelli.
And she's like, no, I'm Stephanie Petronelli. And you were both right.
Yeah, we both really were Stephanie Petronelli, so.
You're not verified yet. I wonder when that's going to come into play.
Yeah, I don't know how to do, someone told me to do that. I was like, I really don't know how to do that. So I'll figure it out for like the next episode so that it won't happen. But yeah, there was someone like kind of catfishing me, like actually like pretending to be me. And then I just asked her, I was like, can you not do that? And she's like, sure. So we worked it out civilly. So I guess
That's really kind of her. You just asked her to stop and she said,
Yeah,
okay.
it really
Yeah,
never
sure.
ends that way.
yeah.
Normally there'd be like a big court battle. And she's like, all right, I guess I'm not Stephanie.
She was like, I'll
Petronelli.
change it when I get home from school. I was like, oh, great.
She's like 12 or something.
feel bad now.
We're chatting with Stephanie Petronelli here on AM 1460, the new WXBR, West Bridgewater resident and native who is a contestant on the current season of American Idol. You were a West Bridgewater Wildcat.
Yes, I was. And I was a cheerleader for the Wildcats as well, so.
Those cats were wild.
They really were.
That's like the most generic name of a high school. I'm sorry to the fine folks in West Bridgewater, but there's like Wildcats everywhere. There's hawks everywhere, and there's variation of hawks. There's sky hawks. There's this kind of hawk. At least where I went to school, we were the Brockton Boxers. I don't think there's any Boxers anymore.
Yeah, no, that's pretty original, yeah.
What's Spelman? Are they the Cardinals?
Cardinals, yeah.
So Mike went to Spelman, the
More
Cardinals.
bird.
Spelman,
Bird.
Cardinals. Yeah. It could also, isn't like a religious figure in Catholicism a cardinal as well?
Yes, that is true.
Oh, really?
So it could be one or two, right?
Yeah.
And it's a Catholic school, so it makes sense,
Two
right?
birds with one stone.
But, shh, look at that.
That
You're just zinging him this morning. We'll get back to Stephanie. She's far more interesting than this banter about this cavalcade of crap. Stephanie Petronelli, current contestant on the season of American Idol. We touched upon this in the first segment, but there's only one episode of the show that has aired to this point that you were featured on that let us know you were in fact going to Hollywood. Some portions of you being in Hollywood have already been recorded before the show goes live. We don't want to know anything about that, but tell us the experience of just getting to Hollywood, realizing, wow, I'm here. You already mentioned that you've released albums and things of that nature prior to being even 18 years old, but I have to imagine this is going... You hop off the plane at LAX with your dream in a car. I won't go there. Yeah. But you just say to yourself, I'm here.
It's just an amazing accomplishment. I feel like in today, today's industry, that's the main way to kind of get recognized or get publicly noticed is through these outlets like these shows like American Idol, X Factor. And so to know that I was on TV and that I got a golden ticket and that I was going to Hollywood was probably the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me, and nothing really can compare to that. It was just an unbelievable moment, an unbelievable time in my life to know that I've made it, out of thousands and thousands and thousands of people that go to these stadiums. To make it that far is a huge accomplishment, so I'm really grateful for that.
When you're waiting in line with thousands of people at a stadium, you know a lot of them aren't going to make it, and when you get to Hollywood, you know that you had superior vocal ability compared to them. I'm sure the playing field a bit equal when you get to Hollywood, however, as they've narrowed the field of people that can actually sing and perform.
Yeah, definitely with each round that you go through the competition, even with the executive producer rounds and stuff like that, the more people that get cut, the competition gets harder and harder because once you're in, even in the Boston producer rounds or whatever before the celebrity judges, everyone's good. So you have to know going to Hollywood, everyone's really good. So it gets definitely tougher and the competition is more cutthroat. So you have to be ready for that.
In the first segment, you mentioned that you're really inspired by bluesy rock and roll vocalists. However, at the same time, you said you wore your cheerleading outfit to the audition because you wanted to let them know that you were much more than a singer. You were also a performer and a dancer. Dancing and blues rock-style vocalists don't always go hand in hand. Ultimately, how do you see yourself?
I think you could dance, as a cheerleader, we dance to rock songs all the time. So I definitely think it's something that can be incorporated. It'd be different, but I'm willing, to be the first person to do that and be a different artist than everyone else. I think that, I know when people saw me in my cheerleading uniform at every round, they were surprised when I said I was singing Led Zeppelin, Whole Lotta Love, because this little cheerleader comes up and with pom-poms and she's singing Led Zeppelin song. That's a little strange. But at least they'll remember me, you know what I mean? At least people remember that as being different than other artists and other people out there.
Come to think of it, as I say, they don't go hand in hand. Mike, remember the Pat Benatar video for Love is a Battlefield? She had a pretty cool dance routine.
True.
Pat Benatar
Really?
can rock. She's like a rock singer, right? So
Yeah.
I guess it can work.
Yeah. And even now they have people like Alex Clare who kind of sings rock songs and bluesy songs, but they have kind of pop beats in the background. So I definitely think I think I'm different, but I think there's a way to definitely make that work. And if I was a recording artist and someone would make me music, that would be fantastic. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's describe your experiences in the music industry to this point. We mentioned you released CDs and released albums prior to being even considered legally adult. What exactly have you done in the recording industry, and how were folks able to purchase these albums?
Well, when I was barely 12 years old, I recorded a CD. that luckily, was recognized by the Grammy, the Grammy ballot, which was unbelievable and definitely gave me some press and some publicity there. It was, it's a great experience. I was so young then, and I feel like my voice and my performing ability has come so far and such a long way since then that I would definitely like to, do something now as an adult that's even better. So I'm definitely ready for that and hoping that next step happens soon.
We mentioned at the top of the interview, outside of being a contestant on American Idol, a New England Patriots cheerleader. Patriots unfortunately fell to the Denver Broncos on Sunday in the AFC Championship game, so you're not going to be taking a trip to New York in a few weeks for the Super Bowl. I can sense the sadness in your voice already.
Yeah, that's definitely disappointing, especially because this is my 4th year as a cheerleader. So that's my last year. You have to retire. So I was really
There's actually
hoping,
a time limit on when you can be a cheerleader?
Yeah, they have like a cutoff. So basically, new people can come on the team and there's more spots open and you just can't do it forever. But unfortunately, I was hoping that, I'd get to end my last year with a go to the Super Bowl, but I've been before, and I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful for the incredible season that we have had, and, I'm sad that I'm going to have to watch it from my couch next year, but it's been a great 4 years.
So your last game as a cheerleader for the Patriots was the playoff game against Indianapolis?
Yes.
That's good. At first I was thinking it was the Buffalo game, and I was at that game. I still have a cold from that game because I was so cold and wet.
Yeah, we've had some really cold games. I think our coldest game was the Broncos game.
Oh my God!
It was so cold.
In November on Sunday night, absolutely freezing outside.
Yeah, they said it was like the coldest game in 20 years or something. It was usually
Mike and myself were in Boston that night, and the wind was just whipping.
Unbelievable.
It was brutal.
Yeah, I'm usually fine on the field. Like I've gotten used to it. Just shutting out that part of my brain that's telling me I'm cold and just focusing on performing. But that game was the only game in 4 years I can really say that it really, really, really affected me. Like I was very cold that game.
What do you guys wear in games that are that cold? I mean, I've been to plenty of games, but I don't exactly notice your wardrobes, I suppose. Unless it's like Halloween, you guys are dressed up like bumblebees and stuff, which is cool.
Well, we do. We wear winter jacket and stuff like that, but it's not, we can't bundle up the same way that a fan would at a game because, we have to be able to dance. So we go and we buy like warmers and stuff. If you go to like the section in CVS for like back pain and stuff like that, and we just kind of tie them all over the place and hope that they keep us warm.
Once again, we're chatting with Stephanie Petronelli here on AM 1460, the new WXBR, contestant on the current season of American Idol. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Are you okay?
I don't know.
Can you sing a little bit of A Whole Lot of Love from Led Zeppelin for us? Since we did not get the opportunity to see you perform that song on national television. You're saying ooh?
I'm trying to think of if I can remember the words. Can I sing a different song?
You can sing a different song, sure. What song would you like to sing for us? Any song that your heart desires.
Can I sing 311 Love Song?
You can. Okay.
No?
You can.
Whenever I'm alone with you, you make me feel like I am home again. Whenever I'm alone with you, you make me feel like I am home again. Whenever I'm alone with you, you make me feel like I am young again. Whenever I'm alone with you, you make me feel like I am fun again. However far away, I will always love you. However long I stay, I will always love you. Whatever words I say, I will always love you. I will always love you.
That was awesome.
Stephanie Petronelli performing live in the WXBR studios. Nick Hexum from 311 has been on our show twice before.
No way, really?
Yes, he has. That song was actually originally from The Cure, and 311 covered it. But Nick Hexum has been on our show twice.
Wow.
We will be sure to let him know next time we see him
please tell him.
that he inspired your rendition of that
great.
song this morning.
Thank you.
Well, Stephanie, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come and chat with us this morning here on WXBR. Any final words for our listeners as you move forward in this American Idol competition here on this Wednesday morning?
I guess just whether it's American Idol or something else, I'm going to make it someday, so remember me. And I hope that everyone can see the potential in me that I see in myself and know that I'm going to do big things someday. So,
well, we wish you the best of luck. We want to encourage our listeners that if, in fact, it gets to the point where they can vote for you, we encourage them to, in fact, vote for you. And we hope that you come back and join us in studio again.
Yes, I would love to.
That is Stephanie Petronelli joining us here in the WXBR studios. We're going to step aside for a quick breather. We'll do a local news update. We have more school closings to tell you about. Stick around. AM 1460, the new WXBR Metro South Morning Show, PM in the AM.